Alright guys, we're here in the shop. We're going to show you how to paint a shutter. That's probably the most intimidating part for everyone doing these DIY shutter kits. But it's really not as hard as you think. We got a shutter here. I'm going to paint it in red just so that you guys can see it. The paint coverage is a little bit better. We just use Rustoleum 2X. It's an enamel paint straight out of Home Depot. You can use any color. It's actually a little bit harder than the lacquer we typically use, so it's good. The trick to spray paint though is light coats, and I'll show you how to do it. So first thing I'm going to do, I've already shaken this up. I want to shake it up really good. It's always wise to test out a spray paint on a spot. Make sure you're getting the coverage that you want. And then tricks with aerosol cans. You want to be about 6 to 8 inches away. If you spread your hand out, that's about 6 inches. And then you want to just do nice even coats. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna tilt your louvers. I've got it laid against the box that it shipped in, and we're just gonna do a nice light coat. We're not worried about covering it all on the first try. And then we'll tilt the louvers. We'll do another light coat. We'll flip the whole thing over, and by the time we get done with that, this side will be dry. We can do a second coat. So I'm gonna tilt them almost to where they're touching like this, and then we're gonna go nice even coats. We want to overlap a little bit, try not to leave the streaks. Now you don't want to go too much at a time. We're trying to avoid drippage. So we're just going to do a nice light coat like this. Now most people are going to paint their shutters white. Since they're already primed white, this is going to go really easy, but I'm doing it in red again so that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So we're going to go all the way down. If you notice, I'm keeping it about the same distance apart. And I'm letting go of the trigger as I finish, and I'm painting about 2 or 3 inches over the edge so I don't stop. I missed a spot. Again, we're going to do multiple coats, so if you miss a spot, just leave it like that. You can reach under here, we can tilt our louvers up, and I can go ahead and start getting the underside of this a little bit. I'm not worried about getting it perfect on the first shot here. Just going to get it nice and covered. And we'll go ahead and speed this up, show you what the whole process looks like here. Here's a helpful tip. We found that it's easier to paint the shutters once they're fully assembled. It allows all the pieces to be laid up against a single cardboard backdrop, and it's easier to tilt the louvers to paint the top and then spin them and paint the bottom all at the same time. When tilting the louvers to paint the underside, we found that it's best to grab them from the side and tilt them. If you grab them from the top and your paint's not quite dry, you can leave thumbprints. That's not the end of the world. What you'll just do is just hit them again with some light coats, and those fingerprints will fill back in. It's important when painting with aerosol to do light coats, let them dry, and come back. It's not important to get it all painted in one pass. If you see we do light coats, this is the proper way. If you go too heavy, you'll start to get dripping, which is not what we want. So now with the light coats, we can come back a second time and we can get that same coverage once it's dried a little bit without the dripping. So there you go guys, that's what it looks like after a quick second coat. What we're going to do is let it dry for about 15-20 minutes. It'll get hard. We don't want it to be tacky. And then we'll come back here, we'll do a second coat, If you're doing white, 2 coats is pretty much all you need. I'm about halfway through this can of paint for this one shutter. That's what it takes to paint a shutter. Super easy.